So you're thinking about living in Colorado's mountains, at least part of the time. In this video, I'm going to show you around Breckenridge, Colorado, using the Google Maps. So you can get your bearings, see kind of where the different neighborhoods are, and I'll show you some different price points of homes and condos so you can see what might fit your budget. And we're gonna get after it right now. If this is your first time in living in Colorado's mountains and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Colorado's mountains, then you'll want to subscribe and tap the bell below for notifications so you can stay on top of the current market conditions here in Colorado's mountains. I'm Julia Regan with the Living in Colorado's Mountains team, and we get calls every day from people just like you. So if you're looking to move in 9 days or 9 months, or maybe you already own, we'd be happy to help. You can find all of our contact information in the description box below, and we're going to get after showing you around Breckenridge right now. All right, so here we are. I'm going to show you the different things that are happening in Breckenridge because, like everywhere, we have a lot of different things happening with short-term rental rules and regulations and licensing. A lot of resort communities are experiencing this. Even towns, across America are dealing with how to handle the licensing and the short-term rentals. Breckenridge has always been a resort town, a vacation spot, which they're trying to keep the certain areas that have rentals as rentals. So I'm going to show you what's happening. It can be a little confusing to all of us as well. So I'm going to show you on the maps, use the Google Maps, and show you the different zones. There is on Breckenridge website, you can find your different zones, you can find all of those things. But I'm going to kind of point out the town and what's happening. Breckenridge, there's an address that you have for Breckenridge can be anywhere from Farmer's Corner, which is Swan Mountain Highway 9, that intersection on the north side of Breckenridge, all the way to the south end of Hoosier Pass. That is, any of those properties can have a Breckenridge address. That will be inclusive of some of those properties will be within unincorporated Breckenridge. Some of them are in town Breckenridge. So it's important to know that just because the address is Breckenridge doesn't mean it's in town Breckenridge. In town Breckenridge has 4 different zones. They have properties such as the One Ski Hill or the Crystal Peak Lodge. Those properties are considered resort zone properties. The Village at Breckenridge, Beaver Run, some of those properties are considered resort zone. Resort zone is a property that would have amenities, potentially ski in, ski out, something that the town considers to be always a necessity for short-term rentals. And the resort zone properties at this point would never lose the ability to have a short-term rental license. So if you're a buyer or looking to sell or thinking about the future, you probably want to have a property that always has the ability to have a short-term rental if that's really high on your list as owning. So there is not the ability to actually draw on a map exactly where those are. The general area and idea is on the west side of town, stuff that would be here. This does not mean this is exactly every property because some of these, funny enough, are actually in unincorporated Summit County. For instance, along Grandview here, off Ski Hill Road, which is very close to the ski area, Sawmill Run Retreats, Sleepy Fox Breckenridge, these homes are actually located on Sawmill Run Road, which is in unincorporated Breckenridge. Unincorporated Breckenridge has 2 zones. This is a resort zone. They call that unincorporated Breck. This is some of their resort zone as well. So unincorporated Breck, town of Breck, both have resort zones. So this is unincorporated Breckenridge Resort Zone. There's some single family homes in there. $7-8 million massive, beautiful, amazing rental homes that you can have income and make those your own if you wanted, or make them as a retreat with some income. Amazing opportunities for single family home rentals. Now we're going to look a little bit more closely at the other areas in Breck, which are going to be Zone 1, 2, and 3. Zone 1 is some properties that will have a very easy time always having a short-term rental license. They are also super close to the ski resort, maybe not exactly the full condo complexes like in the resort zone. This is an area specifically that is a Zone 1, the Marriott Mountain Village here. It's right off the Quicksilver Columbine area. We always talk about kind of the Columbine area here where there's the corral. This is just on the south side of Breckenridge, and that's a Zone 1 area that has almost unlimited licensing. So that should always be easy to acquire a short-term rental license if that's the area you're looking for and maybe don't really want the exact resort zone properties. The next thing would be Zone 2. And Zone 2 is sort of, it's just on the, it's kind of mixed over a little bit in different areas, but it's definitely on the east side of town. For instance, Ridge Street. Some of this is going to be resort or Zone 2. Zone 2 is very small, a little bit more availability for licensing. So that's going to be something to kind of watch if you want to be in that area, and short-term rentals are important. Definitely want to check out the number of licensing available. The third zone in town, Breckenridge, properties that are in town, are going to be maybe a little bit further south or a little bit further north of town. For instance, White Cloud, things like that. Warriors Mark, this area, which is a little bit further out of town, south side of town, is Zone 3. There's very limited licensing available. At this time, there's no licensing available. At some point, there might be some licensing. The town is hopeful that through attrition, these things will sell and there will be less short-term rentals in Zone 3 overall. Consider these areas to be more full-time residence areas. The Highlands at Breckenridge, that's a beautiful neighborhood north of town that there is same thing, no short-term rental licensing available. So if you're looking for short-term rental licensing, this is not an area you're going to want to look. This Breckenridge Golf Course area, you'll see that. That's not what you're hoping to find. A short-term rental home, that's not an option in that area. These other areas, which would even be further north, here's Swan Mountain, as you can see, and then Breckenridge would go, as I said, to the top or Hoosier Pass. Here's, your stopping points for addresses with Breckenridge. Those spots can be very different short-term rental licensing. So you want to make sure that you're speaking with a professional, doing your own research. There's a lot of information out there, but Breckenridge has some great opportunities for short-term rental licensing if that's what you're looking for. So be sure to find it here on my website, on the town's website. There's a lot of information out there, but it isn't something you want to just assume that you can have that licensing. So if it's important, please reach out. I sure hope to see you living in Colorado's mountains soon.